Hello students, we are considering about the elements of group 16th, 17th and 18th. In last videos, we have studied about the atomic and physical properties of these elements, then how oxygen and fluorine show anomalous behavior. Now in this video, we shall consider about the chemical properties of elements of group 16th, 17th and 18th. The first property is oxidation state. What is oxidation state? You know, it is the charge on the atom here in the molecule. Now, which oxidation states are shown by the elements which are present in group 16th, 17th and 18th? You know that p block elements shows different oxidation states. First, see here, oxidation states of group 16 elements. You know that the general electronic configuration of group 16 elements is Ns2Np4. That is, in the outermost shell there are 6 electrons. Now if you consider about only p orbitals, here these orbital will contain 6 electrons. That means here 2 electrons are less, and therefore here these elements have most of the tendency of gaining 2 electrons, that is the oxidation state of -2, or they can form the covalent bond by sharing a pair of electrons like this. They can show the oxidation state +2 also. So these elements show variable oxidation states like -2, +2, +4 and -6. Now see here, all these elements have 6 electrons in their valence shell, so they have the tendency to gain or to share 2 electrons to complete an octet showing a common oxidation state, that is -2 or +2. Here I explained you. That means here in p orbital there are 4 electrons, or in all in this nth shell there are 6 electrons. So to complete the octet 2 electrons are required. So the atom will gain 2 electrons and get converted into negatively charged ion. That means it has the oxidation state -2, or it will share the 2 electrons, and so it will have the oxidation state +2. You know that oxygen is the first element in this group, and it is highly electronegative element. It has the tendency to gain electrons, and this tendency is large, and so here common oxidation state of oxygen is -2. In all the oxides the oxidation state of oxygen is -2, but if you consider peroxides, that is H2O2, Na2O2, here the oxidation state of oxygen is -1. And in OF2, when oxygen reacts with fluorine, you know that fluorine is more electronegative than oxygen, and so here oxidation state of oxygen in this molecule is +2, where fluorine has oxidation state always -1. Except oxygen, all other elements have vacant d orbital. If you consider the electronic configuration, you know that in oxygen d orbitals are absent, but all the elements in this 16th group element, that is sulfur, selenium, tellurium, etc., they contain d orbitals. So the electrons can promote to the vacant d orbitals, and so they can show the higher oxidation states, like in SF4. Here the oxidation state of sulfur is +4, TeCl4, SeBr4. In SF6 oxidation state of sulfur is +6, because the electrons can be promoted to empty d orbitals. Now the stability of +6 oxidation state decreases, but the stability of the +4 oxidation state increases down the group due to the inert pair effect. Now what is inert pair effect? Here inert pair effect, it is the phenomena of decrease of oxidation state while moving down the group in p block elements. In p block elements we can obtain inert pair effect, and it can be explained in the another video, that is inert pair effect it affects the oxidation state of these elements, and therefore the oxidation state decreases, and therefore +4 oxidation state is more stable, or +6 oxidation state goes on decreasing. Bonding in +4 and +6 oxidation state is covalent in nature. Remember here, +4 and +6 oxidation state of these elements can be obtained due to the sharing of pair of electrons. I explained you this is due to the excitation of the electrons in d orbitals and due to the hybridization, where sp3d2 or sp3d hybridization takes place, and so these elements are they are showing the covalent bond, or they can form covalent bonds. Like this, there are the different oxidation state of group 16 elements. Now oxidation states of halogens, that is group 17th elements. If you consider the electronic configuration of these halogens, they have the last electronic configuration, that is ns2np5, that is there are 7 electrons in the outermost shell, and so to obtain the electronic configuration of nearest inert gas, these halogens have the tendency to gain 1 electron, or they can share 1 electron. So these elements are monovalent, they show the valency 1, so these are called as monovalent, and therefore the oxidation state of these elements is -1. All the halogens show the oxidation states from -1 to +7. These oxidation states are -1, +1, +3, +5 and +7. Chlorine and bromine show oxidation state of +4 and +6 in their oxides and oxyacids. We have to consider about the oxides and oxyacids here, and here in oxides and oxyacids, chlorine and bromine shows the oxidation state +4 and +6. What is the oxidation state of all the elements here? Remember, fluorine always shows -1 oxidation state in all its compounds, but the other halogens, that is chlorine, bromine, iodine, can show these oxidation state, that is +1, +3, +5, because here there is presence of d orbitals, vacant d orbitals are present. So due to the presence of d orbitals here, the electrons can be promoted to the d orbitals, and so these oxidation state, that is higher oxidation states, can be obtained in chlorine, bromine and iodine. But remember, fluorine has no d orbitals, it has only s and p orbitals, and therefore it cannot expand its octet, and so it is more electronegative, so it shows only -1 oxidation state. Remember, in these halogens, fluorine can show only -1 oxidation state, but the other halogens can show these positive oxidation states due to the presence of empty d orbitals. Now if you consider about the oxidation states of group 18 elements, which are called as inert gases, they have the stable electronic configuration, that is ns2np6, that is their octet is complete, and so these elements do not show tendency to lose electrons or to gain electrons or to share electrons. These elements cannot lose or gain or share electrons, and therefore they are zero valent. Their valence is 0, and so these elements exist as the monoatomic gases. You know, the inert gases are helium, neon, argon, xenon, like this. These are the monoatomic gases, they cannot combine with another atom. Here the exception is xenon. Here xenon has larger atomic size, low ionization enthalpy, and here also it has the empty d orbitals, and so the paired electrons can be promoted to empty d orbitals, and due to the unpaired electrons, these electrons can be shared with fluorine and oxygen atoms, and so you can obtain the covalent compounds which are obtained by the reaction between xenon and oxygen and xenon and fluorine. So the higher oxidation states can be shown by the element xenon here. Xenon XeF2, here it shows the oxidation state +2, +4, +6, Like this, the oxidation state of xenon can be different, but remember, instead of xenon, all the inert gases are zero valent or they have the oxidation state 0. Now, the next property, or how these elements react with hydrogen, chemical reactivity towards hydrogen. We shall consider first group 16 elements. Now, the elements of group 16, which are these elements? You know, oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, and polonium. Now remember that polonium is radioactive, so it is not stable. So we have to consider about the reactivity of oxygen, sulfur, selenium, and tellurium only. These elements react with hydrogen to form hydrides. Now remember, when these elements react with hydrogen, the compound form is called as hydrides of this, and here the hydrides are the type H2O, H2E, that is E is the element which is present in group 16. Now H2O, this is the hydride of oxygen. Remember, H2O, that is water, is hydride of oxygen. You can call it as hydride of oxygen, and you know the properties of water. It is colorless as well as odorless, and it is liquid in state. The other hydrides, sulfur reacts with hydrogen to give H2S, hydrogen sulfide it is called, H2Se, H2Te, H2PO. All these are colorless and they are bad smelling poisonous gases at ordinary temperature. You know the property of H2S. It has the smell, that is rotten egg smell, you can call it as. And so remember that all these hydrides have smelling, and they are bad smelling and they are poisonous. In all hydrides, the central atom E undergoes sp3 hybridization. Remember, here we have considered about the formation of H2O molecule in chemical bonding topic in 11th standard, and you know that in H2O, oxygen atom undergoes sp3 hybridization, that is the central atom E means these atoms oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium and polonium, all these atoms in these hydrides undergoes sp3 hybridization, so they are angular in shape. You know that sp3 hybridization has the geometry tetrahedral geometry, but here due to the lone pairs of electrons the geometry is angular. All hydrides are weakly acidic in nature, and their acidic character increases down the group because the thermal stability decreases from H2O to H2Te, and bond dissociation enthalpy decreases down the group. What is acidic character? Acidic, you know that the substance which can donate H plus ions is called as acidic substance or acid. Now the substance which can donate H plus ions easily, it is more acidic. Here these hydrides can donate H plus ions not easily, so they are weakly acidic, but remember here their acidic character increases down the group. Why it will increase? Remember, when you move down the group in this group 16th elements, the atomic size goes on increasing, and so the bond can be broken easily because the bond dissociation enthalpy decreases, that is the energy required to break the bond between the hydrogen and these atoms goes on increasing. And so remember here hydrogen can be easily given by these molecules or these compounds, and therefore they become more acidic. Again, the next reason is thermal stability. What is thermal stability? When you heat the compound, then the tendency is of breaking the bond. If the bond is broken easily by supplying the heat, you can say that it is less thermal stable, and so thermal stability also decreases from H2O to H2Te. That means here H2Te can give H plus ions easily, so here it is more acidic than H2O. Except H2O, all hydrides show reducing property which increases in the order H2S less than H2Se less than H2Te. That is here reducing property. What is reducing property? Reduction. Here you have to remember about the topic redox reaction. In reduction, what happens? There is gain of electrons, and reducing property, that is the substance, it has the tendency to reduce another substance, and therefore here remember, in all the hydrides, here reducing property increases from H2S to H2Te. Now we shall consider about the chemical reactivity of group 17th and 18th elements towards hydrogen. Elements of group 17th, which are the elements? These are called as halogens, that is fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine. These reacts with hydrogen to form hydrogen halides. You know all these. These are HF, HCl, HBr, HR. All these are, you can say, HCl. We have studied about the HCl is hydrochloric acid, hydrobromic acid, HF hydrofluoric acid. So these are also called as hydrogen halides. Now, bond dissociation enthalpy and thermal stability of HX bond is in the order HF greater than HCl greater than HBr greater than HI. That is, bond dissociation enthalpy and thermal stability goes on decreasing from fluorine to iodine, and so here fluorine has more bond dissociation enthalpy, and so the acidic strength of halogen acids increases in the order the acidic character goes on increasing. I explained you in the last part, that is the acidic character of group 16th element. Here these molecules have the tendency to lose H plus ions. If the tendency to lose H plus ions is more, then it is more acidic. Here the bond dissociation enthalpy goes on decreasing, thermal stability goes on decreasing, and so the tendency to lose H plus ions or to donate H plus ions goes on increasing, and so here the acidic character goes on increasing. Now group 18 elements, that is noble gases, they cannot react with hydrogen, and so it is called as they are chemically inert towards hydrogen. Like this, we have considered about the chemical reactivity of these group 16th, 17th and 18th elements towards hydrogen. Now we shall consider about the chemical reactivity towards oxygen, how all these elements react with oxygen. Now noble gases are chemically inert, but here we have to consider about the 16th, 17th group elements. The elements which are present in group 16, they form oxides of the type EO2 and EO3. When they react with oxygen, they can form the oxides like EO2 and EO3. Means what? Where E is the element of group 16 element. If you consider sulfur, the first element of group 16 is oxygen, but oxygen and reaction of oxygen with oxygen, here it cannot be considered. Therefore the first element is sulfur. When it reacts with oxygen, it can form two types of oxides, SO2 and SO3. Like this, all these elements can form two types of oxides, EO2 and EO3. EO2 types of oxide. First, the oxygen also reacts with oxygen and you can form ozone. Ozone and sulfur dioxide. Sulfur reacts with oxygen to give sulfur dioxide. These are the gases. Where selenium dioxide, SeO2, it is solid in nature. These oxides react with water to form acids. The oxides are acidic oxide. These oxides reacts with water to give acids. For example, SO2 reacts with H2O to give H2SO3, sulfurous acid. SO3 reacts with H2O to give sulfuric acid, but SO2 reacts with H2O to give sulfurous acid having the molecular formula H2SO3. SeO2, selenium dioxide, it reacts with water to give selenious acid, H2SeO3. Reducing property of dioxides decreases from SO2 to TiO2, and SO2 is a reducing agent and TiO2 is oxidizing agent. You know that reducing agent, it forces reduction is gaining of electrons. And what is reducing agent? It itself gets oxidized, means it loses electrons. And you know that oxidation means addition of oxygen and reduction means removal of oxygen. Now reducing agent carries out the oxidation, means it gives oxidation to another molecule, and therefore SO2 is reducing agent, but TiO2 is oxidizing agent. That means it can give it can give oxygen easily to the another molecule, and therefore it is a oxidizing agent. That is, the bond between these metals and oxygen, it becomes weak as we move down the group, and so oxygen can be easily given by these elements, and therefore they are good oxidizing agent. Here SO2 is a reducing agent because it cannot give easily oxygen, that is due to the smaller size and high ionization enthalpy. Here oxygen cannot be easily given, and therefore it works as reducing agent. But here this reducing character goes on decreasing, and TiO2 is good oxidizing agent. Now EO3 types of oxides. These oxides dissolve in water to form acids. Again, these oxides, like EO2 types of oxides, these oxides also dissolve in water to give the acids. SeO3 plus H2O gives selenic acid. The formula is H2SeO4. TeO3 plus thrice H2O gives H6TeO6, which is called as telluric acid. Like this, these oxides, they are dissolved in water to give acids. You have to remember the molecular formulae of these acids. Now reactivity towards oxygen of group 17th and 18th elements. Elements of group 17th, which are called as halogens, form many oxides, but most of them are unstable. Most of the oxides are unstable. They can combine with oxygen and form many oxides, but they are unstable. Oxides of fluorine. Fluorine has the oxide OF2, which is thermally stable. It is strong fluorinating agent. What is fluorination? The addition of fluorine due to the chemical reaction is called as fluorination, and here it is a strong fluorinating agent. That means it can give easily fluorine. O2F2, it is strong fluorinating agent. First oxide of fluorine is OF2. The second is O2F2, which is a strong fluorinating agent. It oxidizes plutonium to PuF6, which is used in the nuclear fuel, and the reaction is used in removing plutonium as PuF6 from spent nuclear fuel. Oxides of chlorine. Chlorine has many oxides like Cl2O, ClO2, Cl2O6 and Cl2O7. What is the oxidation state of chlorine? In all these oxides you can calculate. These are highly reactive oxidizing agents and having the tendency to get explode. ClO2 is used as bleaching agent in the paper industry and in textiles and in the water treatment also. ClO2 is used as bleaching agent. You have to remember these properties or applications of ClO2. It is used as bleaching agent. What is bleaching? To remove the color, bleach. And paper industry, that is to obtain the white paper, ClO2 is used as bleaching agent. In textiles also and in water treatment. Now oxides of bromine, Br2O, BrO2, BrO3 are least stable, and these are powerful oxidizing agents. Iodine has the oxides like I2O4, I2O5 and I2O7. These are insoluble solids and they decompose on heating. I2O5 is a very good oxidizing agent, and in the estimation of carbon monoxide it is used as oxidizing agent. Higher oxides of halogens are more stable than the lower oxides. These higher oxides, that is having more oxygen atoms, they are more stable than the lower oxides. Now group 18 elements, they do not react with oxygen. They have no tendency to react with oxygen. So you have to remember which are the oxides of the group 17th elements and which are the properties of these elements. The next is how these elements reacts with halogens. First is group 16 elements. Elements of group 16 react with halogens to give the halides. These are called as halides like EX6, EX4 and EX2, where E is S, Se and Te. EX6, these are called as hexahalides, that is 6 halogen atoms are there like SF6, SEF6, TEF6. We have considered the oxidation state of S in SF6 is plus 6. Like this, here oxidation state of all these E, that is elements of group 16 are is plus 6. All these are colorless gases and they are formed by direct combination. They can be obtained by direct combination between fluorine and sulfur. These compounds are formed due to the sp3 due to hybridization. Here you know that s orbital is completely filled and p orbital contains 4 electrons. Here ns2 and np4, it is the electronic configuration. 1 electron from s and 1 electron which is paired from p orbital gets promoted to empty d orbitals, and so these orbitals, that is 1s, 3p and 2d orbitals, mix with each other to give sp3d2 hybridization, and so 6 unpaired electrons will be formed, and therefore you can obtain the bond molecules like sf6, sef6 like this. These hybridization have octahedral structure. Sf6 is more stable than all other halides. The stability decreases in the order, that is fluorides greater than chlorides, greater than bromides, greater than iodides. That is, the fluorides are most stable and the stability decreases as we move down the group. Tetrahalides, that is having 4 halogen atoms, SF4, SEF4, TEF4, TeCl4. Here there is sp3 hybridization, that is 1 s orbital and 3 p orbitals mix with each other. You know that in sp3 hybridization there is trigonal bipyramidal geometry, and here one equilateral position, that is here 1 s orbital and 3 p orbitals mix with each other, but here these 3 p orbital contains the paired electrons, and here so the lone pair is there, one equilateral position occupied by lone pair. Trigonal pyramidal geometry is shown by all these molecules. Dihalides, that is dihalides means 2 halogen atoms are there, SCl2, SeCl2, TeCl2, sp3 hybridization is there also, but here the structure is tetrahedral. There are 2 lone pairs of electrons. Remember here in tetrahalides also there is a sp3 hybridization, but 1 lone pair is there. Here in dihalides also there is a sp3 hybridization, but 2 lone pairs are there. Now monohalides, they are dimeric in nature. Monohalides means here S2F2, that is one halide is combined with one element, one atom of group 16 elements, but the formula is S2F2, that is 2 molecules they combine together, 2 same molecules they combine together, it is called as dimerization, that is dimeric in nature. We have said S2F2, S2Cl2, that is SCl plus SCl, which will obtain S2Cl2. There is chemical bonding between these two, Se2Cl2, Se2Br2, like this. These halides undergo disproportionation, that is twice Se2Cl2. You can obtain the reaction as SeCl4 plus thrice Se. So remember here the reactivity of group 16 elements towards halogens. For this you have to remember about the hexahalides, tetrahalides, dihalides and monohalides. Now reactivity of halogens towards halogens. When halogens combine with another halogen, that is halogens combine amongst themselves to form the number of compounds, these compounds are called as interhalogen compounds. About these interhalogen compounds we have to study in the next part. What are interhalogen compounds, how they are obtained, what is about the stability of these compounds, we have to consider in the next part of this topic. Interhalogen compounds are the compounds which are obtained due to the reaction between the different halogens. Now these halogens combine with each other to give different types, that is X, X dash, X, X dash 3, X, X dash 5, X, X dash 7. What is X and what is X dash? X is halogen and atom and with larger size, and X dash is a halogen atom with smaller size. That is, both are halogens, X and X dash. If you consider here X and X dash, here X is the atom which is of larger size and X dash is the atom which is of smaller size. If you consider about fluorine, which is smaller in size, that is, it can be denoted by X dash, and if you consider about the bromine, then it can be denoted by X and it is larger in size. Like this we can obtain more different interhalogen compounds. Now group 18 elements, reactivity of group 18 elements towards halogens. Group 18 elements are, generally they are inert, but krypton and xenon, they react directly with fluorine to give fluorides. The conditions are xenon reacts with fluorine at 673 Kelvin and 1 atmospheric pressure to give XeF2. Xenon fluoride, that is XeF2, XeF4 and XeF6 are crystalline and colorless, which undergoes sublimation at 298 Kelvin and it is powerful fluorinating agent. Xenon has higher atomic size, low ionization enthalpy, and therefore here, due to the having empty d orbitals, the electrons can be promoted to empty d orbitals, and due to the hybridization, you can say here the vacant or unpaired electrons can be obtained, and these unpaired electrons can combine with fluorine due to the covalent bonding and can obtain different fluorides, that is xenon fluorides, XeF2, XeF4, XeF6, like this. All these are crystalline and colorless, that means these are the solids, they undergo sublimation at 298 Kelvin. Reactivity of all these elements towards metals. First we shall consider group 16 elements, how they react with different metals. These elements react with metals to form metal oxides, metal sulfides and metal selenides, tellurides, like this. When metal reacts with oxygen, you can obtain oxide, metal oxide. Metal react with sulfur, you can say it will give metal sulfide, like this, selenides, tellurides. Here these are the some examples. Now aluminium react with oxygen, it will give aluminium trioxide, Al2O3. Copper reacts with sulfur to give copper sulfide, like this. Magnesium, magnesium selenide. Gold reacts with tellurium to give gold telluride. Remember here, gold react with tellurium. Gold has this property, it reacts with tellurium, or tellurium has this property to react with gold to give gold telluride. Like this, the metals react with these elements, that is, if it reacts with oxygen, you can obtain oxide. Reacts with sulfur, you can obtain sulfide. React with selenium, you can obtain selenide, and tellurium, you can obtain tellurides. Like this, you can remember these properties, that is different metals, how they react with oxygen to give oxide, different metals, how they react with sulfur to give sulfides, like this. How these group 17 elements react with metals. Elements of group 17, which are halogens, they have the tendency to gain electrons, and metals have the tendency to lose electrons. And so when these halogens react with metals, generally ionic bond is obtained. We have these examples of ionic bonding, that is formation of NaCl. Here NaCl2, that is two sodium atoms react with chlorine molecule to give two molecules of NaCl. Like this, MgBr2 will be obtained. Ionic character of halides decreases in the order Mf greater than Mcl greater than Mi, where M is monovalent metal. Metals, if they are monovalent, that is the elements which are present in group first group elements, you can say their ionic character decreases in this order, that is due to the increase in the atomic size of these halogens. These elements can lose, these compounds can lose these halogens easily. SnCl4, PbCl4, SbCl5 and UF6 are more covalent than SnCl2, PbCl2, SbCl3 and UF4. See here, SnCl4, SnCl2, PbCl2, PbCl4, SbCl5, SbCl3, that is, these are the more covalent compounds. They show less ionic character than these elements. Noble gases, they do not react with metals. So remember here how group 17th elements can react with the metal. Generally, remember here ionic compounds are formed, and if this number of fluorine atoms or halogen atoms goes on increasing, they show the less covalent character, less ionic character, that is more covalent character. So remember how these elements of group 16th, 17th and 18th react with hydrogen, oxygen, halogens and different metals. Now in the next video we shall consider about the allotropy.